Welcome to your Houston Rewind for the first week of October. I'm KHOU 11 digital anchor Brandy Smith. We know catching up on the news can be a little overwhelming, especially in a city like Houston where it never seems to stop. So every weekend, we take this opportunity to fill you in on some of the stories you may have missed. Let's rewind. Monday, residents in two Southeast Houston apartment complexes demanded action. Troy Kless talked to people who live in the complexes off the Gulf Freeway near Edgebrook, who call the apartments dangerous and deplorable.
It wasn't a warm welcome home for residents like Natisha Miles. She moved in 2.5 years ago.
Immediately, once I moved to the Redford, I got held at gunpoint, go and check my mailbox.
Miles learned other residents did not even feel safe inside their apartment, like Johnny Rivera, who is a single mom on disability.
Repairs going unfixed, damage, water damage, the walls are bending, it looks scary.
Other issues they shared with me, like AC being out during extreme heat and claims of units being boarded up due to mold. Nonprofit group Texas Housers says many tenants are also facing wrongful eviction. The families who live here are on different types of housing support.
These folks were trying to seek solutions for themselves, and since then they were thrust into these horrendous conditions. And that's why we're demanding accountability, not only from the homelessness service providers, but also from the housing authority itself.
Us are now facing homelessness.
KHOU has called and emailed the Houston Housing Authority multiple times. We've also called property management companies for the Redford and Cabo San Lucas apartments to get answers.
To understand the conditions we have been living in.
Miles says the money being paid should go towards fixing these ongoing problems.
If you're providing the money for this situation, then do what you're supposed to be doing. And that's not being done. We're just asking for help and to be listened to and treated like people and not animals.
The Houston Housing Authority sent KHOU 11 a statement saying while it doesn't own or manage the properties, its staff is deeply concerned by the issues tenants are facing. You can read that full statement in this article on KHOU.com. Texas Housers organizers plan to meet with the HHA in the coming weeks. Harris County leaders reiterated their county library's designation as a book sanctuary. The message Monday kicked off the 41st annual Banned Books Week, and Adam Bennett was there.
Inside the West University Harris County Public Library, you'll find bestsellers and books on all topics that are not always easy to find in all libraries.
In the greater Houston area, 67 books were banned in our school systems last year.
Commissioner Rodney Ellis pointed to some of those books behind him. He said the county's library system carries more than 600 of the 800 books that have been banned somewhere.
One of my favorite books that happens to have been banned is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison.
That's one of the books Klein ISD removed from its library shelves. In recent months, KHOU 11 has covered fights over this issue in several other districts, including Conroe ISD.
You need to remove all the books, hardbound, audio, etc. from our school.
And Katy ISD.
But my school district removed age-relevant books at record pace.
Back at the county library, Director Edward Melton told me they have a process for people to request books be reviewed.
People can challenge titles, but under normal circumstances, it has to be something very inaccurate or not true that we would remove a title. But just because someone complains because of the diversity of the content, we wouldn't remove that title.
Melton said so far, the county has not removed any books. Monday, Astros fans crammed into the team store at Minute Maid Park to get postseason gear after the Astros clinched a playoff berth. Stephanie Whitfield tagged along with celebrating fans.
Astros fans are dedicated. They've been coming by all night long to get this, the brand new AL West Division Champs gear. Now, this store, which is located at Center Field here at Minute Maid Park, opened as soon as the Astros won. The Astros made that announcement around 5 p.m. yesterday. We're told the store is going to stay open until 7 p.m. tonight, and fans rushed over right away.
We had to come down. We have to get this. This was probably the hardest fought AL division that we've ever done. I mean, this was awesome. I had to get out of my house because I was screaming so much.
Here's a look at the weekend hours for the Centerfield team store, just in case you want to stop by and grab some of that playoff gear. Houston is now home to the first North American Gandhi Museum. It opened Monday. We first showed you the museum, which is dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi and his legacy, back in May. Our Michelle Choi takes us to Monday's opening in Southwest Houston.
Yeah, this grand opening is a long time coming. We're told creating this museum was a dream that began back in 2016. Fast forward to today, the state-of-the-art facility is now open to the public. Sitting on 3 acres, the Eternal Gandhi Museum Houston is located in Southwest Houston off Riceville School Road and is the only museum in America dedicated to preserving and promoting Mahatma Gandhi's legacy and his teaching of nonviolent conflict resolution. Several local dignitaries attended today's ceremony, as well as 2 very special guests. Dr. Raj Mohan Gandhi, the grandson of Gandhi.
I'm happy because here's a new museum that will encourage humanity to get beyond hate, violence, and supremacy.
And Martin Luther King Jr.'s nephew, Mr. Isaac Newton Ferris Jr., who flew in from Atlanta to attend the event.
This museum, the great Mahatma's philosophy is desperately needed in America today. And so I certainly had to be a part of this.
We're told the museum will be a place where people of all diverse backgrounds can come together and learn the stories of leaders who made profound social changes through peaceful means. The museum is open 6 days a week. For information about hours and ticket prices, we've got a link posted on our website at KHOU.com.
Houston drivers are used to debris on the road, but a 9-inch piece of rebar through a windshield? One driver's lucky to be alive. She shared what happened with Marcelino Benito.
This is what came through my window.
Amanda Killian did not mince words Saturday. She was on her way to the airport to pick up her mom 75 miles an hour down the Beltway when it happened.
I saw it coming. And then explosion. It absolutely shook me to my core.
She thought she'd been shot at.
I was hysterical because it sprayed glass everywhere, all over my face. My whole entire car was covered in glass.
Amanda decided not to pull over on the busy highway.
And I was, shaking the whole way home.
It wasn't until she got back that she found what had actually come flying into her car.
This is what did that. Look, it hit here and then went this way, came right in there.
The heavy metal rod came out of nowhere.
And it went through like butter, hit the seat, and then bounced off and hit me in the leg.
Her dog,
this is Bo,
usually rides shotgun.
He sits, like a human right in that front seat.
But not that day. Call it luck or divine intervention, but Amanda knows how lucky they all were. Grateful that drive to the airport did not turn deadly.
I really lived through Final Destination, because if this would have came through the driver's side, it would have probably impaled me and I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now.
This is the second time Amanda's had a close call with flying debris on a Houston highway. She says she is nervous about getting back on the freeway, but if you live in Houston, she says you really don't have a choice. Multiple instances of what investigators labeled domestic violence left at least 3 people dead last weekend. They add to the shocking number of domestic violence cases in Harris County. Rika Mudaraj takes a closer look at the disturbing uptick in these cases.
Sadly, those incidents track with the latest statistics on domestic violence in a report by the Texas Council on Family Violence. It's why the nonprofit is hosting a virtual town hall this Thursday, and everyone is invited to attend.
We want people to see their role in addressing domestic violence, and we know everyone is connected in communities, faith communities or schools or healthcare settings, where there are opportunities to reach people who are impacted by domestic violence.
That's Makisha Hooper with the TCFV. She says the statewide event on Thursday will address some really disturbing findings, including how in 2022, Harris County led the state with twice the number of domestic violence homicides than any other singular county. Of course, Harris County has one of the largest populations, so Hooper says the numbers are lower per capita, but it doesn't minimize the effects of each homicide. Also statewide, there is a staggering number of domestic violence-related homicides by firearms and a dramatic increase in the youngest age of offenders and victims. Hooper says everyone plays a part in helping kids learn about healthy relationships early on.
Talking about young people, prevention really happens across the lifespan, but we have to make those opportunities to provide healthy relationship education with starting at a very young age and then across the lifespan for sure.
So as you can see, domestic violence is a community-wide problem, and everyone plays a role in predicting and preventing it. If you're interested in watching the town hall, it's from 10 a.m. to noon this Thursday. We have a link on our website to register at KHOU.com.
There is 24/7 access available if you need help getting out of a domestic violence situation. You can contact the national hotline anytime by calling 800-799-7233, or you can text the word START to 88788. Texas lawmakers are criticizing a booming development in Liberty County. They claim a growing number of undocumented immigrants are moving to Colony Ridge, and now the development, which started 10 years ago, might be addressed in the upcoming special session of the legislature. Janelle Bluda went to Colony Ridge Tuesday to get answers.
Well, there's no question this area is growing, and it's growing fast. In fact, this developer says several new schools have been built because of that growth, and more are on the way.
Colony Ridge.
All of this is developed, this is developed, this is developed, all this is developed.
Is a massive development. There's no doubt about that.
We took the individual lots and sold them to consumers that end up building themselves a house.
Spanning 10,000 acres, Colony Ridge has been selling plots of land to homeowners for a decade now.
The development will probably double in size from what it is now.
With so many new homes, thousands of new students have enrolled at Cleveland ISD as new schools and stores make their way into the area.
There's obviously going to be some resistance to that.
But developer Trey Harris says he's disappointed by the adverse attention Colony Ridge has been receiving in recent weeks.
One way to complain about it is to say they're all illegals, right? And so they're not, but that's what they say.
There's been alarming allegations around Colony Ridge, claims that thousands of undocumented immigrants live there.
And they make it sound as if I send school buses to Mexico City and pick people up and drive them back here and sell them a piece of land, which is the furthest thing from the truth.
Some calling it a breeding ground for the cartel and crime. Accusations, Harris says, are all false.
And I would say we have undocumented immigrants, but I would say most subdivisions in the Houston area have undocumented immigrants in them.
Still, though, the reports have prompted lawmakers to chime in. U.S. Representative Brian Babin calling on the Texas Attorney General to investigate. Even Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick took his own tour, saying he's concerned it's too large of an area for law enforcement to patrol, saying they may even hold hearings on Colony Ridge during the new special session.
I think the misinformation that's out there has got a lot of this part of Texas concerned.
Harris says they have crime like any neighborhood, but they contract deputies to patrol. Still, though, he's invited lawmakers out for a tour to see for themselves.
We're more than happy to take the time to show everybody what we do and why it's a good thing for Texas and why it's a good thing for the people that live here.
And speaking with the people who live there.
Do you feel like safe?
Yeah, pretty much so.
Homeowners who didn't want to talk on camera had different reactions. Some said they feel safe and always have. Others said they don't and they're looking to move.
That tour is scheduled to happen Thursday. Harris says a number of lawmakers have RSVP'd. We hope to bring you more from that later this week.
We did go back to Colony Ridge on Thursday along with lawmakers. We talked to law enforcement in the area as well. That story's ahead in a couple minutes. As part of Hispanic Heritage Month, KHOU 11 is sharing the stories of those inspiring others in our community. Maria Aguilera introduced us to a young Latino pilot who wants to make history.
It's all good to go.
In one of the most competitive industries,
check all this, make sure it works.
Hispanic pilots make up less than 10% of the workforce.
From the flight deck, your first officer, Colon, speaking with you today.
Here in Houston, Christian Colon, at just 21 years old, is one of the youngest pilots for Mesa Airlines, a United Express partner.
People give me weird looks when they see me in the cockpit. They think I'm a flight attendant or I'm just a mechanic or something. They don't expect a young person like I am.
Colon was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico. His parents came to Houston when he was 5 for a better future. And recently, he says, he had the honor to fly them.
The reason I say this flight is special is because on row 7C, I have both of my parents.
He graduated from Houston ISD's Sterling Aviation High School.
He kept going and learning.
With the help of his mentor, Andy Jameson, and the partnership that United has with the school, he continued on his path to become a pilot.
This shows that anybody could do anything that they set their minds out to do, regardless of where your background is.
Colon's goal is to become the youngest Latino pilot for United Airlines, then the youngest captain. He also has a more personal goal.
I've always told my parents that, hey, I want you guys to fly with me back home because you guys took me out of Puerto Rico for a better future, and I want to bring you back for vacation, back to where it all started.
For him, the sky is not the limit. He wants others who look like him to know they can accomplish anything.
I'm here now. It took a lot of dedication and time out of my life, but I can say from the rest of my life now, I'm actually a pilot.
In Houston, Maria Aguilera, KHOU 11 News.
You can watch more of our stories celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month on our website. Just go to khou.com/ourstory. Wednesday, the Houston City Council approved nearly $48 million for emergency repairs to water leaks. Public Works will use that money to hire more contractors to inspect and fix the more than 500 leaks reported as of Wednesday. Anna Bennett broke down how crews are prioritizing repairs.
It's another day of rain falling from the sky and water rising up from lines below the street in front of Ryan Greep's Timber Grove home.
How long have you been dealing with this issue?
I'd say it's been about a month.
Greep says he called 311 and someone came out a week and a half later.
I was excited. I said, "Oh, you're here to fix it." He laughed in my face and said, "Oh, sorry for laughing in your face. We just have hundreds of these." He said, "No, I'm just putting in a ticket for the next guy."
Greep says the next guy told him calling 311 repeatedly was his best shot, so his neighbor made these signs for Greep's front yard. After 4 visits to inspect the leak, there's still no timeline for repair.
Please, if you can afford to be sending this many people out, I think you can afford to send out the crew to fix it.
I told Greep's council member, Abby Kamen, about the situation.
I can't speak to any particular leak without looking into it specifically, but residents, after they report to 311, can let our office know and send us that 311 so that we can personally monitor and track it, make sure crews are going out there.
Kamen told me some delays fixing non-emergency leaks are because other crews have to first come out and mark utilities. She and Greep are hopeful with more money flowing.
Favor? Oppose? Item carries.
Less of the water will be.
Between June 1st and last Saturday, Houston 311 took more than 19,000 calls about water leaks, including duplicate calls. City crews and contractors have repaired more than 4,200 leaks. Multiple teachers reached out to KHOU 11 on Wednesday. They're concerned about a reading packet for students that included references to sex and alcohol. The excerpt from Maya Angelou's memoir, Gather Together in My Name, was supposed to be given to 8th graders at the district's new education system schools. Sherman Chow talked to a parent and former teacher about their concerns.
The orange highlights give you a quick idea of why teachers sounded the alarm over this passage.
It's excerpting a passage from a Maya Angelou book. And listen, I'm all for kids reading great literature, but the content of the scene doesn't seem appropriate for an 8th grade ELA class. That's actually a subject that I used to teach. It's a passage that describes pretty graphically an older man coercing a young girl into having sex with him.
Sim Kerm is a parent of 2 HISD kids, but that's not how Kern found out about this passage.
So it was sent to me by a teacher because I have been talking a lot about the HISD takeover on my TikTok channel. Actually, a lot of teachers have started reaching out to me and sharing concerning lesson plans.
Kern sent it to us and we asked HISD about it. Superintendent Mike Miles responded with this statement saying that the lesson did not meet HISD standards and, quote, this issue was identified and corrected before it impacted students or instruction.
Does that make it a little bit better?
Like I said, this isn't the first passage that 8th grade English language arts teachers have seen that they had concerns about.
Miles' statement goes on to say that the chief academic officer will be reviewing curriculum creation, that a paid team of HISD teacher experts from each grade level and content area will be reviewing curriculum, and that'll be half their job. Teachers will be engaged to get feedback on curricular resources.
At khou.com/education, you can catch up on all of our coverage of the Texas Education Agency's takeover of Houston ISD and the changes made since. A Fort Bend County mother has a warning for others. She says she was scammed out of hundreds of dollars while trying to buy her son a puppy. Anna Yeli Ruiz spoke to her about how it happened and what you need to look out for.
That was the puppy.
It was supposed to be the newest member for the Garcia family, a puppy.
I finally say, fine, let's do it. Maybe this will excite us, the family.
Gricia Garcia said her brother recently passed in a terrible DWI accident, and it left her broken and depressed.
I just thought having a dog would, make the family a little more happy.
She began looking online with her son, and they found a page that was selling St. Bernards for $1,000. They contacted the seller and he asked for a deposit, something that wasn't out of the ordinary for this entrepreneur who also promotes her business online.
They'll sell me a deposit, or sometimes they'll sell me for their whole appointment for their
But then the seller told her he needed more money for the vet, and then he needed more again.
At the end, I told him, I'm not sending you any more money, without a dog.
That's when she says he blocked her and she was left without $500 and without a dog. Something the Better Business Bureau says is happening more often.
Unfortunately, we've seen a big influx of these types of pet scams, people purchasing pets online and then paying money up front.
That's why investigators have some tips to follow. They say don't hand over the money until you have the animal, and make sure the transaction is done at a police station or a fire station. And they encourage people to do their research before purchasing online.
You have to vet your source. You have to be able to see inside and out who you're doing business with.
Police say follow your gut. If it feels too good to be true, it probably is.
And if somebody's genuinely wanting to do business with you, somebody is they have a genuine business, they're not going to be pushing and forcing you and pressuring you to close the deal.
A hard lesson for this family who's already going through so much.
I felt like I let my son down.
Ana Yeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Arepas, empanadas, and burgers so big they're impossible to devour in a single sitting. A Venezuelan family is serving it up in a Fort Bend community known as KHOU. Cheryl Mercedes took us to the restaurant known for two things: its food and the people.
There's a lot of big flavor cooking at this small diner in Cinco Ranch, and we mean big. That's ground meat, chicken, pork, topped with egg, stuffed between two big buns. It's an El Cormet specialty that customers savor.
When you taste the three meats together, it's awesome.
Ramon Castro is a regular here.
Every Saturday, every Saturday and Sunday, I'm here buying empanadas for my family.
Gracias. Family is what owner Jose Vielma built El Cormet on. Its history can be found some 2,000 miles south in Mérida, Venezuela, where Jose got his first taste of running a restaurant 15 years ago.
It's not easy, but the Venezuelan population supported me.
His support comes from his neighbors and customers who have settled in Katie's Cinco Ranch, known to some as Katiezuela.
The people say, hey, Katiezuela, Venezuela.
According to the latest Census American Community Survey for the Houston metro area, 73% of people with Hispanic origin have Mexican heritage, 8% Salvadoran, and 4% Honduran. But in Fort Bend, Venezuelans make up a larger share of the Hispanic community, while residents with Mexican and Salvadoran heritage make up the majority of Hispanic people. Venezuelans rank third.
It's nice. Go to the many places and find, the people from Venezuela.
Jose says he realized it several years ago when he rolled a food truck and began selling Venezuelan street food. His business really took off.
On the food truck, we had too much people, and we need another place, to expand the business.
Fast forward 7 years, he's expanded to 3 brick-and-mortar restaurants, 2 in Katy and 1 in the Woodlands. Jose employs between 20 to 25 people. His success, he says, comes mostly from word of mouth.
I prepare every sauce and every principal flavors on the restaurant.
And a group of people who always has his back.
My wife, my children's, they are with me and say every day, let's go, we can do it.
Jose is just getting started. His goal is to make El Gourmet a Texas tradition and eventually expand it into a national franchise.
On Thursday, lawmakers visited Colony Ridge, that massive development in Liberty County we mentioned a little earlier. Law enforcement there also responded to claims the Colony Ridge development is overrun with crime and drug cartels. Devon Roming filled us in.
With the national media spotlight shining on the booming development north of Houston.
Just your everyday average law enforcement calls could be just some thefts, loose dogs, some burglaries.
Constable Zach Harkness said calls for service in the area are no different than any other area with 40,000 people.
There have been some bigger cases. There have been some murders, some aggravated assaults.
Questions of lawlessness prompted developer Trey Harris to invite lawmakers to see for themselves.
The reason we had the tour and the reason we invited the legislators here is we wanted them to get a first-hand look at our neighborhood so they can make decisions on their own based off fact, not based off the gossip mill.
Harris says the development has boomed with a largely Hispanic population moving in over the last 2 decades.
This is an opportunity for people to have home ownership, to grow their wealth and prosperity through real estate and land ownership, and we're giving them that opportunity. And there's not a house in here that I'm disappointed in.
Some lawmakers have called it a cartel breeding ground, housing undocumented immigrants, and what's been lacking, according to Harris and others, evidence of such crime wave. Today, lawmakers question the need for the state to get involved.
I do not believe that this is anything that we should be alarmed about or using up taxpayer dollars to talk about next week in the special session.
While echoing Constable Harkness, who says he won't turn down more resources.
There have been a lot of people discussing whether a DPS substation should be here, and from talking to the folks involved, they didn't invite it. In fact, they've offered to donate the land.
Several lawmakers said they requested crime data for the area before making a judgment about Colony Ridge. KHOU 11 requested that data as well. The FBI is warning against what it calls a phantom hacker scam targeting the bank accounts of older Americans. Sherman Chow explained the scam and how to protect yourself and your family.
Estimated losses from this phantom hacker scam over $500 million, and that's just for the first 6 months of this year. The majority of the losses coming from seniors who have retirement accounts and life savings. The fraudsters impersonate tech or customer support from a financial institution like the bank or the U.S. government even. The goal to have you download software onto your computer to observe and manipulate your finances, or to have you move your money to a fake government account. They can contact victims via text, email, or a pop-up window on your computer. With seniors, it's often an old-fashioned phone call.
Do not pick up the phone with people you don't know, and certainly don't give out personal information. If you do find yourself thinking that you've been victimized or look at your bank accounts and realize you have been victimized, the first call you should make is not to us. The first call should be to your financial institution.
You want to stop or pause any transactions that may be fraudulent. A lot of information is already hacked out on the dark web. Crooks can buy Social Security numbers for as little as $1. Credit card information starts at $5. And those over age 60 are the largest pool of victims, including former FBI Director William Webster. He was hit in a lottery scam, then made this public service announcement. Yeah, so even the head of the FBI is vulnerable. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Talk to the seniors in your world about scams like these and tell them if someone calls from a number you don't recognize, don't answer the call. Speak to a relative first to vet the problem, or if it's from a phone number that looks familiar but the caller wants money and they need to have it fast, again, don't do anything. Hang up, contact a relative to help you sort things out first. From FBI headquarters, Sherman Chow, KHOU 11 News.
Houston area toll roads generate a lot of fees for local drivers, but where does that money go? That's the question a viewer asked, and Janelle Bluda verified the answer.
$1 here, $2 there. Tolls can feel pretty small on their own, but paying them each and every day, each and every way, all that money can add up. But where does it go? Geneva sent us an email saying, I was wanting to know where all the money goes that is paid for tolls. The Hardy toll I thought was set up to pay for the road. Can you verify? And as a follow-up question, Geneva asked, where does the money go? To answer this question, we went straight to Harris County Toll Road Authority, or as many call it, HECTRA. It's a Harris County agency supported by those toll road revenues. We asked them Geneva's question and they responded saying, toll revenue and debt are pooled together to maintain and complete the system. No section of the toll road system is financially independent. So we can verify the tolls are set up to pay for all of the various toll roads, from the Hardy to the Sam Houston Tollway and others. And not just their initial construction, but also their maintenance and new projects. Hector told the Verify team, quote, the county's mobility needs didn't stop growing when the original segments were completed, which is why the county continues to improve and expand the system as well as maintain it. And in terms of expanding the system, Hectra's website lists a number of projects that are either in the planning phase, under construction, or recently completed. If you would like to take a look at those or check out Hectra's financial reports, we have a link to them on our website, KHOU.com. With your Verify, I'm Janelle Bluda.
Reach out to us with your Verify questions. Just email verify@khou.com. It is one of the most unique buildings in Houston. The Julia Idison building served as the city's central library for decades. This hidden gem is loaded with history and just a touch of mystery. Far below its skyscraping glass pillar of a neighbor, the Julia Idison building resides in downtown Houston as a physical reminder of the city's history.
This particular building was opened in 1926.
Its halls hold more than 100 years of history, though its shelves hold much more.
The Houston History Research Center is an archive which collects on the history, the documentary history of Houston. So we do have an extensive book collection as well as an archival collection, which also has a pretty extensive Hispanic collection within it.
Since the building is part of the Houston Public Library system, all of this is open to the public. The microfiche, the old yearbooks, even a 4,000-piece photo collection.
It's important to preserve the documentary evidence of Houston because it allows researchers to come in and understand how the city started, what significant things have happened here, and how the people have changed.
The HHRC occupies a small portion of the first floor. Just outside its doors, the history lessons continue via a free audio tour of the building.
Starting from outside and coming all the way through the building, all the way up to our third floor.
You can learn about the building itself and its facade. And about a dozen other stops fill you in on how this tile mural of Don Quixote came to be, what the other murals in the building are all about, and what's special about the Norma Meldrum Room.
95% of the furniture in that room is original to the building.
Chairs, tables, shelves, all dating back nearly a century. It's not just been preserved, but restored.
When they did the restoration, they made sure that they even went back and got microscopic paint chips so that they could restore even the color to the building.
Its uniqueness is highlighted in spots like the reading room, complete with Venus de Milo statue.
Really amazing to be able to work here with so much history.
On the third floor, you'll find the rotunda, which has the restored wood railing and a ceiling dotted with beautiful rosettes.
It's just really a beautiful building. I understand totally why it's such a draw for people who are having events or just or visiting the city and just want to look around.
Some aren't just looking, they're hunting, as in ghost hunting. The Julia Idison building is said to be haunted by Jacob Frank Kramer, its long-serving caretaker, whose violin can sometimes be heard in the third floor gallery. After all, where you find history, there's often a little mystery.
Absolutely.
Hidden Gems is part of our Living in the Lone Star series, which includes spooky spaces. So if you're looking to get into the Halloween spirit, check out this YouTube playlist with haunted houses and ghost tours. A Texas gymnastics coach will spend 10 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to sex crimes against children who attended his center. KHOU got reaction from one of his victims.
A victim of former gymnastics coach Michael Spiller responded to him pleading guilty to 4 counts of indecency with a child by exposure. She says that he allegedly molested her 40 years ago at a Houston gym when she was just 10 years old. Michael Spiller worked with children and other instructors in at least 16 states and 10 countries. One of those children was Ann Whitney.
His crimes have gone beyond exposure. So he wasn't even really convicted of the core crime that he's guilty of.
She's one of 5 women, including 3 children, who have come forward and openly accused Spiller of sexual misconduct.
Nothing will happen to people who abuse children unless we are willing to believe what children say.
Whitney says her case was not tried because of the statute of limitations, but she gave an impact statement in court yesterday.
He took advantage of children. That was a choice on his part.
Spiller was sentenced to prison Thursday after admitting to revealing himself to girls on van rides to summer camp at the Bernie Gymnastics Center.
10 years isn't enough. I've been living with it for 40 years.
Spiller is also accused of placing a camera in a hotel room to record girls as they changed. So far, he hasn't been charged for those allegations yet. Ugochi Iloka, KHOU 11 News.
Football and fashion may seem like an odd couple, but L'Oreal Sarkeesian makes it work. She's the wife of UT's head football coach, Steve Sarkeesian, and is getting a lot of attention for her sideline style. Rekha Mudaraj sat down with L'Oreal for an exclusive interview.
L'Oreal Sarkeesian is the first lady of Texas football. Fans follow her Instagram page for her game day looks.
We came here to reestablish Texas, put it back on the map.
As she suits up in support of her husband, UT head football coach Steve Sarkeesian, and the team. But this missus isn't just a wife.
And I totally understand his lifestyle, the schedule, the intensity of him being at the office all the time, recruiting on the road.
Sarkeesian is a former collegiate and professional track star, and influenced by her mother, who also ran track, Sarkeesian worked as a coach as well.
Come in my office, let's talk, if you need to, what's going on in your life, just being able to wear a mom, sister, friend hat to get you along your life journey.
But when she met Coach Sarkeesian a few years ago,
2 coaches cannot be successful in a relationship. at least how we were operating.
She turned her attention to another longtime passion. Sarkeesian started her styling business, now coaching clients into looks that serve a purpose. The spotlight still shines on her and the clothes she wears to the games.
There is no process.
Really? It's just what you feel like wearing that day.
It is what I feel like wearing that day.
Still, Longhorn fans have their opinions.
They kind of get on me a little bit because I don't always have on burnt orange. We'll get to that because burnt orange is hard.
It is hard to find.
Burnt orange is hard.
Whether it's sports, fashion, or philanthropy,
it goes back to helping people. I will never get away from that. That is who I am through and through.
Rekha Mudaraj, KHOU 11 News.
Narcolepsy is a relatively rare sleep disorder, but those who have it know how much it affects their everyday life. Kimberly Davis spoke to a neurologist who stressed how important it is to get this autoimmune disorder treated.
Heavy are the eyes of those living with untreated narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is a chronic neurological disorder that affects the brain's ability to control sleep-wake cycles, and they experience obsessive daytime sleepiness or uncontrollable sleep attacks daily.
The exact cause of narcolepsy is unclear, but it is most likely secondary to an immune attack where person's own immune system is attacking certain neurons in the brain.
Dr. Archita Verma, a neurologist with UT Health Houston, says narcolepsy is not curable, but the symptoms can be managed by treatment. Medical treatment varies depending on patient symptoms. In addition to the classic symptoms, a person living with narcolepsy may also have hallucinations while falling asleep.
Patients usually describe saying that, I see spiders on the wall. I quickly, woke up and I knew that, that was not true. I heard a loud noise in my bathroom or in my living room.
Narcolepsy is most diagnosed between 10 to 30 years old. Dr. Verma says narcolepsy is typically triggered after an infection or vaccination.
It is very important to treat because narcolepsy comes with a significant burden of patients not being able to perform their activities of daily living, do well in school, in college. That's the time when the symptoms are being manifested.
Even driving a car can be dicey. That's why doctors are urging you not to struggle in silence.
You're still experiencing symptoms of non-refreshing sleep, excessive daytime fatigue, unable to perform the activities of daily living, then you need to seek medical attention. That is not normal.
All week, our KHOU 11 Morning News team took a deeper look at sleep, focusing on things that really impact you, like work, family, and some habits. You know the ones like late night scrolling. But they also came with solutions to help you catch some Z's. Be sure to watch those stories wherever you're watching this. Hope that helped you catch up on this past week and you're ready for the next one. Remember, you can tune into KHOU 11 on air, online via KHOU.com and YouTube, as well as by using our free KHOU 11 Plus app on Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV. Have a great week.